morning.
Good morning. How's it going?
Very well. How you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing good.
Stable, yeah.
Yeah, just keeping it vibe like.
It's nice to be back.
It is.
To be back. We had a little bit of a break, and this is a good one to come back to because.
Oh yes, it is.
Good lord, there is a metric swear word ton of things to talk about. Where do I start? I mean, we might have to do. This is going to be a different format this week. I think.
I feel as though.
Yeah, we're going to try and stay away from these, if you didn't already know, is because we've got so much to talk about that we'll be here for hours.
Yeah, exactly.
So, we'll jump straight in. Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunked.
That came out.
Yeah.
I'm about 20 hours in.
Okay.
I'm trying to stay away from the storyline as much as I can at the moment because I'm just doing all the side stuff.
Yeah.
And just trying to figure the game out.
You're doing one of
20
my
hours
ones.
to figure the game out. So obviously with Cyberpunk coming out, it's a hot mess.
Yeah.
My experience of it was I'm playing it on PC,
Mm-hmm.
and within the first 3 minutes of the game,
Yeah.
the bug that I came across, I showed you,
Yeah.
was so bad the game was unplayable. So I did the Nomad. So there's 3 options you can choose when you start the game: Nomad, Street Kid, and Corpo. And I chose the Nomad. And you're in the desert kind of area, and as you drive out, you have the desert in front of you. We're in this building in the garage, in the mechanic.
Yeah.
And the background of the desert was in the mechanic garage. And in the garage. And it was just unplayable. And then anywhere you drove, the background was...
The background was in the foreground.
It was in your face. There was nothing you could do. It was in front of everything.
You had a desert for a nose.
Yeah, it was.
You know what I mean?
Pretty much. And so I had to basically go through and update drivers and go through all this technical, and eventually got to the point where it was playable. There's still bugs, people walking through closed doors and shooting through hard cover, and if you die in a certain way, the game assumes you're in another place so that it will put you inside of another character. It's kind of amazing that it has got to a point, and you hear about the PS4 versions crashing. I've got a friend of mine, he said it crashed 4 times.
Oh gosh.
And he was just like, it's getting to a point where I may have to leave it until they sort this stuff out till New Year. I mean, with their latest patch, I've got a friend as well who got their latest patch, which came out 48 hours ago, and he was saying to me it crashed 3 times post patch. That's bad, isn't it?
It's not a good look. And when it's a developer, let me just say it straight. When it's CD Projekt Red, right, who is responsible for what probably is one of the greatest RPGs of all time. In The Witcher.
Yeah, Witcher 3 Wild Hunt was definitely... Well, Witcher 2 was amazing as well.
Yeah.
This is the thing. This is where I stand with this, because this is a weird one, because as much as I go, yes, you're absolutely right, do you think... It's like, imagine you decide that you're going to make a short film.
Yeah.
And you make the short film. This could be a terrible metaphor.
No.
You make the short film, and it's great. You've nailed it.
Yeah.
So you make another short film, and it's really, really great.
Yeah.
And then you finish with the third one, but they're all in the same vein.
Yeah.
You're building on the same things.
Yeah.
But it's always the same.
Yeah.
Right? And everyone's like, that's amazing. He's so good at that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Now you go, all right, I'm going to do something bigger and better. I'm going to make a feature film that has nothing to do with what I've learned in the last one.
Nothing to do with nothing.
And everyone else is going, this is going to be amazing. Oh my God, could you imagine that? Bearing in mind, you've only done 3 shorts, and this will be your first big boy.
Yeah.
Not to say this is the same, because obviously The Witcher 3 is a mega huge.
Oh man.
But narratively, it was a lot more linear.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as it was open world, there were less people in it.
Yes.
It felt like it was much slower. You're on a horse. There's less people in the world as you go around. This is wall-to-wall content.
It's crammed. It is really, really crammed.
So my question is, did we put too much on...
them as the developer? To give us something that's like bigger and better and amazing, like more so than The Witcher?
Yeah. Did we turn around and go...
Were we expecting too much?
And
then we got it.
Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? Because on the flip side of it as well, you know how in the last few episodes, if you've been hanging out with us,
Yeah.
we complain about the marketing. We complain about them constantly doing these Night City things. And putting all this sexy stuff out.
Yeah.
Now I'm sitting there going, you wanted us to buy the game before we even saw it.
Yeah.
And that's what that was for.
Yeah.
Because they sold 8 million units before the game even came out, which recouped their development costs and recouped their marketing budget.
Yep.
So they made their money back before the game was even released. They are laughing. As much as 23% of their stock is now down because of the push and because of the crunch and now because of the bugs.
Yeah.
They were like, well, they're still going, well, we can still make our Witcher money.
Yeah.
It's Witcher money, because at the end of the day, they've turned around and gone, yeah, The Witcher 3 was so amazing. Look how amazing we are.
Yeah.
And then they've curated this beautiful game that we ain't seen. And then they're going, yeah, buy it though. Buy it. So it's all
great.
do.
Trust us, man.
They make the money and they go, yeah, we only released the game yet and we're already getting paid. The game comes out, it's a buggy mess. And everyone's like, yo, what the fuck? And everyone's like, swear jar. You know, what's going on? And like,
there's a lot of emotion in this episode, but it's all gonna come out.
You bought this though, like. I hope CD Projekt get their life. They get this together. I can't imagine what it would have been 6 months ago.
I know, and it's like you said, like going back to the whole marketing aspect of it, and we've spoken about this at length. I've spoken at length about this with my brothers and friends of mine. There was just. It got to a point where there was something new coming out every week upon the doorstep of the release.
Yeah.
By way of trailers and this, that, and the third, little game snippets, little BTSs behind the scenes. I mean, for crying out loud, we got to run the Jules music video, like, 2-3 weeks prior?
Yeah. And
it got to the point where, you know, you and I were saying something stinks, man. Something is not, something doesn't feel right.
I think that I can't help but feel like they knew this was coming. And
yeah,
they were like,
of course.
Let's try and get as many units sold because if they didn't do this and the game came out, people are like, nah, I'm not buying this.
No, exactly.
I'm not buying this.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. It is a shame. Look, I'm enjoying the game. There are some really great moments. But I'm gonna have to use the same term as everyone. I'm not. Bearing in mind, I'm not gonna tell you anything about. We're not gonna tell you about the story. We're not gonna tell you anything like that.
No.
It does feel quite safe. It does feel very Grand Theft Auto. It does feel
Grand Theft Auto.
I look. Obviously, that's gonna be the thing that I think comes up the most. I haven't read any reviews on purpose,
right?
Or watched any reviews on purpose,
right?
But I can't help but feel like there are degrees of it. At least degrees of it. There's essence of GTA in this.
Yeah.
And it does feel quite safe. And it does feel quite like maybe you have taken on a little bit too much. But we'll see.
Bitten
like
off
I said,
a little bit more than you can chew.
Yeah, but this is just a preview. This is like first impressions.
Yeah.
You know, once I've played the game and it's done, after like the third patch in 3 days.
Yeah.
You know, we'll have another conversation. But at the moment, it does feel quite like... I can see what you were trying to do. Yeah,
I mean, look, to be fair to them, you know, you go into this world. I mean, I've started at a very different point in the story than you have because of the character I've chosen. So,
and you're playing on PS4 as well, right?
And I'm playing on PS4, right?
Yeah.
So I get to experience the let's call it the visual realization of what they were trying to go for.
Yeah.
And to be fair to them, it's almost fully realized in a sense. Like, you know, they've tried to cram in like a really just that cyberpunk sort of vibe, just that sort of futuristic sci-fi kind of vibe, and I completely get that, and I'm completely on board with that. However, right, it's like you were saying, it does feel that there are too many moving parts. It feels like whack-a-mole.
There is a lot.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. They've tried to go for it, and it's like I think you tried to do too much.
Yeah, like you see, like I mean, a couple of times now I've gone up and spoken to people, and they kind of look like lumps of clay. You know what I mean?
And cars do that as well.
Yeah. And then, you know, they fully render, and then you notice something in the background has just gone. You know what I mean? You're like, wait, what's going on here?
I didn't get the famous bug where it was like, you know, your bits are coming through your clothing.
Oh, I didn't even hear about that.
Did you hear about that?
No,
so there's a bug, and it was on some streamers where it's like, because when you make your character, you can choose what genitalia you have. which is like hooded, non-hooded, non-existent.
Yeah. Which I've still yet to see what relevance that bears on the game.
Game at all. And then it was the same for, female choices.
Yeah.
But what's happened is, obviously, throughout the game, they've made so many items of clothing that represent your armor, if you will.
Yeah.
And there's a bug where, regardless of what you're wearing, your bits will clip through the clothes, and you'll just be walking around with your clothes with your junk out. And that still hasn't been fixed. And on top of that, there's this clear thing called brain dancing, where you have to have these things go over your eyes and they flash, but they were causing epileptic seizures.
Oh,
they just fixed it.
Yeah.
But they fixed it in this last patch, but it was like, people are sitting there going, "Raw, it's almost like you intended." Because it was so, like, real.
Yeah.
So, like, there it is riddled. I mean, I'm really surprised that, they must know.
Yeah.
And they're just going to be like, look, we're going to just keep cracking at it. And like I said, I'm hoping that by the time I finish the game, I'd like to have another crack at it if I enjoyed it, and be like, right, at this point, it's in pretty good shape.
Yeah. I'm in a bit of a weird place with it because, I'm a good couple of hours in, but I'm torn between this idea of do I give it another couple of hours just to get the feel for it, and then put it down for a little while and give it a chance for it to be ironed out, or do I just plow through? Because I don't know about you, but I don't necessarily want my experience marred
by bugs,
by these weird little bugs. And I'm sorry to say, but we have been waiting for this game for a little while now, and this is not me saying we expected greatness.
But we expected a game that worked.
But we exactly that. Yeah, took the words out of my mouth. We expected a game that worked. You know what I mean? So I guess I just want to give it a chance to work. I mean, it should have been delayed again.
I mean, to be honest, I don't know if they could have afforded another push, but I think if they had have pushed it, after seeing what I've seen, I'd be like, dude, just push it again.
Yeah, because at this point it's 6.5 a dozen, right? Because they've lost what was it, 23% of their stock.
Yeah.
Even though they made like bank on their pre-orders, 74% going on digital alone.
Yeah.
But they've still taken a share hit, so I don't think it would have made that much of a difference to say, look.
And they crunched.
And they crunched.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scream.
And they crunched, and you're just sitting there like.
Yeah.
After all these years.
Yeah.
And then the 6-month crunch and da-da-da. You would expect the game to come out and be... If the game was going to be disappointing, I thought it would have been disappointing because of the game.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to be disappointed because of the technical side of the game. But anyway, that's basically where we're at with Cyberpunk. Like I said, this is just a preview. We haven't finished the game.
No.
I'm intending to play it through and through to the best of my ability, as much as the game will allow me to. And we'll talk about it again later.
Yeah, for sure.
So, moving on. The Game Awards came out. So our last episode, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about what we thought games should have won certain things. And basically, if you're interested, if you didn't already know, Last of Us cleaned house and basically got everything.
Basically swept the board.
I'm not surprised.
Say it from your chest, man.
I'm not surprised, but I'm also like, okay, of course, win awards.
Yeah,
you deserve awards because you are, one of the biggest games of the year.
No, yeah,
you didn't let us down, and you were sound.
Yeah.
You did good. I just didn't think you should have won everything.
Yeah, I mean, just to give you like a little quick rundown of like, say, the first 5 that they've cleaned up on, right? So. Game of the Year.
Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, I can give you Game of the... yeah, all right. I can't argue Game of the Year.
Right.
I don't like it, but I can't argue it.
Even though you've played Ghost of Tsushima.
No, this is what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, I loved Ghost.
Yeah.
But for what The Last of Us... I might be directly contradicting myself from last time. But I loved Ghost. Check
our last episode.
I like Ghost, but it's more just like what The Last of Us did to the fans and the people, where we're still talking about it. Like, I had a 30-minute conversation the other day with a friend of mine about the game, about the story, about what it did to us, about how it made us feel, how conflicted we were.
Right.
I didn't really have that conversation with Ghost, and it's just made me. I've sat and thought about it and just been like, wow, this even if you didn't enjoy it, it had an impact.
It's got spiritual longevity.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know
And
what I mean?
and
Like,
that's
that's what it feels like it has.
and that for me is why I'm like, all right, I understand if it did get Game of the Year.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough.
So next one?
The next one was best game direction. Now, for this one, me
Okay.
personally-
All right. Look, I know you're about to kick off. So
me, I'm not. No, I'm not. Like,
I am.
all right, but bro, do you?
No. Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say, right. I can. Yeah. No, I can understand best game direction. I can understand it at the risk of probably contradicting myself from last time. But what that game did for me, narratively, the choices that we were forced to make begrudgingly.
Yeah.
And just kind of where it took it on an emotional level. Yeah, I can get it.
Was it game direction that stoke up the controversy of should you get best director if you crunched? Was it that?
Well, yeah. Well, that's the other side of it, because this game did obviously
Crunch hard.
It crunched really hard, and obviously, if you are crunching, that means that on a directorial or aka management level, something's gone a little bit awry. So it's kind of.
But this is the question: is so basically, if you don't know, crunching means. I'm gonna be extreme with it. But basically, we got a game coming out in 3 months. You're gonna work every day, 12 to 14-hour days, 7 days a week. It's gonna be hard and it's gonna be crap. And the game industry is famous for it, where people have been just overworked and burnt out when they're working towards a deadline. And game developers for years have been trying to knock it on their head. Even CDPR had to admit that they were going to crunch with Cyberpunk when they were desperately trying not to. Naughty Dog got in trouble for it. There was this whole controversy about them big crunching.
Yeah.
But then the question I have for you is, when you say game direction, is it the guy that, for example, Neil Druckmann, who directed Naughty Dog, who's now the co-president of Naughty Dog. He's gone from he directed it, but he directed the actors, he directed the workflows. He was the one that sat there and helped write it, and he was the one that made sure that the actors understood where they were, and directing like you would a movie. Does it, as much as he was vice president at the time as well, right, but that's neither here nor there. Does that direction come under the crunch thing, or is it he directed the actors, he directed the view and the vision of it, but does that come under the I made all the devs crunch?
That's an interesting question. I'm not even completely sure how to answer it, because like I was saying before, if it's a case of he obviously he's written it, directed the actors, knew where they needed to be and stuff like that, and that obviously served the purpose of the impact that we felt from the story. Going over to the other side now, obviously you need to direct people in various departments to help pull all of this together. So
I can
so
see
the
where
question
people
is,
ask the question.
Exactly. So the question is, well, how did that get a little bit wobbly? If it, do you know what I mean?
As VP, you know that you're crunching, and you're starting controversy, right? You know that you're not going to be everyone's favorite. But I just think as a director, someone that directed the game, I'm like, are they the same thing? It's not like best vice president. It's not best producer. It's best director. And I'm just curious, because I don't have the answer. I'm just curious as to, he directed the game. Should he get best director because they crunched, or are those two things not in the same
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I suppose if it was consistent across the board in that he directed the departments that he needed to, but also directed the story and the actors within that, and it was all on a good consistent level, whereby you didn't need to be working around the clock for weeks and months and whatever, then I would be more comfortable, more confident in saying, okay, best director, especially if we got the impact from the story that we got. But it seems as though that we got that impact, but there was a cost elsewhere in that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I get the sense of the question. It's probably not completely airtight, deserved. You know what I mean?
Okay, all right, interesting.
Yeah.
Go on. Sorry, go on.
No, it's cool. So that was misdirection. Best narrative.
Last of Us.
It's Last of Us, isn't it?
Again, I can't. You can't really argue best narrative.
No,
You can't. Like, I can argue best direction because Hades and Tsushima were very good.
Yeah.
But narrative, I mean, come on. Like I said, we've been talking about it.
Yeah.
For time. Even now, it's still a topic. So.
Yeah, that's true, because even I think I've had maybe one other conversation in passing that, and I can't even call it a conversation. It was like 10 seconds worth, whereby I was talking about Ghost of Tsushima. Before that, hadn't really spoken about it since around the time of its release. Really.
Yeah.
I've had more conversations about The Last of Us easily.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima was great, but I feel like the conversation's over now.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm still getting people going, yeah, Last of Us though, and you're like, yeah, okay. So that's got to mean something.
Are you gonna give Last of Us another run through?
Nah, probably not. There's too much. There's no. I mean, to be honest, there's too much going on.
Because you got all your gear now, and you're souped up. You can just do a quick speed.
I don't think so. I mean, with Cyberpunk being here in the medium coming up.
Yeah.
And there are other little indie games that I'm playing at the moment that I'm enjoying, but I just feel like there are other things coming.
Yeah.
So
more importance matters.
And obviously, you've got to start splitting up your time with Disney Plus.
Oh my god.
Anyway, sorry, go on.
I mean, that's another episode.
Yeah.
So that was best narrative, and then there was best art direction, which was Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, deserved.
I mean, I haven't played the thing. I've seen it, and it does look super, super impressive.
Ghost of Tsushima was a really stunning game to look at. However,
oh no,
Last of Us is probably one of the best looking games I've seen on the generation, on the PS4.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, Last of Us Part 2 was one of the best looking environments and It looked phenomenal on the PS4. End of life console, moving into something else. And it still did what it did last time, which was be one of the best looking games of its time. But in terms of this amazing Japanese fantasy, like the colors and I mean, Ghost of Tsushima for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if the judges are sitting there going, we got to get something else. We can't just be like... We can't just get. It can't be the complete wash.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good. I like that call.
Okay, fair dues. Yeah. Now this one you get. Okay, let's see how you feel about this one.
Go on.
Best score and music. That went to Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh shit! Look.
Go on, easy.
I really like. I mean, Final Fantasy VII is probably my favorite. Final Fantasy is one of my favorite, if not my favorite franchise of all time.
Yeah.
I have been a big fan of it. I think the music is undeniable. I think that One Winged Angel, the Sephiroth theme, is probably
it is a signature villain piece of music.
The greatest bit of music of all time. I mean, Sephiroth is one of the best villains of all time.
So well written.
Yeah, it's amazing, and the music is iconic. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But
okay,
do you think, if the Game Awards are doing an award for the games of that year, Final Fantasy VII's music has been present, although it's been remastered and redone and everything. I completely agree with that. But that music was written 20 years ago.
About 20 plus years ago.
20 plus years ago.
Yeah.
And then you're coming back and going, oh, well, I've redone this.
Yeah.
This, I just don't know if, it should be games that came out that had new music, new scores,
no one had ever heard before.
No one's heard, that really rocked the world and was okay, wow, what an incredible bit of music.
Yeah.
I can't help but my argument is, should it have been new music that had come out that year in a game that had come out that year that we then go, yeah, that's a really great bit of music. Whereas Final Fantasy VII, the music was written 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was already there. And it was just.
It was just kind of tweaked. And
just adding a couple of extra ingredients just to bring it to now, basically. I don't feel it should have gotten that.
No,
I don't. That's cheating a little bit.
It feels like it.
Yeah, it feels a little bit dishonest. I mean, if I was going to pick something else in the list, I mean, just like the previous game, I really loved its soundtrack to the point where I still listen to it today.
Yeah.
And Last of Us 2's soundtrack.
Yeah.
Kind of did the same thing for me.
I mean, Ori was one in there as well, wasn't
it? There was Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Yeah.
And Hades and Doom Eternal.
See, I have Ori and the Will and the Wisps and Ori and the Blind Forest on vinyl.
Wow.
Because it's such an incredible, beautiful, amazing soundtrack.
Yeah.
But it was an original piece that's written in the last 12 to 18 months or whatever.
Yeah.
I just think that deserved a look in, and I think that Doom deserved a look, Doom deserved a look in, Hades deserved a look in, even you said Last of Us, right?
Yeah.
I just think they should have got a look in because it's new music that was created at that time.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't think there was really any of the music was an original that came with that game. Now you're shaking your head.
Nah.
I don't know. It's interesting. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think. If you think it deserved to make that win, I don't know. I just feel like it maybe didn't. I feel like it was.
No, not for me. It's just yeah.
Next,
moving on. Best audio design. I mean, you could probably guess this one.
Last of Us.
Last of Us.
What were the choices?
So the choices were Doom Eternal. Beg your pardon. Doom Eternal. Half-Life Alyx, Ghost of Tsushima, and Resi 2. Resi 3.
I don't know why Resi 3's even in there.
You had an issue with that game, didn't you?
I did. Resi DLC. I don't know why that. I mean, it wasn't. It was good.
Yeah.
It didn't make me go, oh my god, listen to this, man.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I don't know why it's even in there. Yeah.
It seems like slim pickings on that.
Yeah. It just comes between Ghost and Last of Us.
I mean, what was Ghost's audio design like?
It was great.
How did it fit around the game?
It was great. It worked. It was beautiful. It really worked really well. At no point did I feel like it wasn't. I didn't notice it. As in, like, I didn't sit there and go, it was noticeable. Sorry, I didn't notice anything bad about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Last of Us. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Standard.
Bagel.
And the last of the main ones.
Yeah.
We've got best performance.
Oh yeah, that's going Last of Us all day long.
I mean,
fair enough.
I'm not having it from this list because Last of Us is in there twice and it won one of them, right? Like, so it's got Ashley Johnson as Ellie, Last of Us 2, and it's got Laura Bailey as Abby, I mean,
who won?
Abby, Laura
Bailey won.
Laura Bailey won, which is interesting to me considering the controversy surrounding her and her character prior to the release of the game. Like, people were just losing their minds about.
I think it's kind of, there's a little bit of like, this thing of like, for all them haters, I won the best performance in a game.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm calm with that. I think that's.
I mean, it was an amazing performance.
I think I was the one that, like, when we did the last one, I said Ellie. But I completely understand why. I can understand why a Last of Us character won.
Yeah,
because they're just they are incredible performances.
They're incredible performances, and they're just incredibly well written for their narrative.
But that's the thing. We're sitting here. The problem is, it's so like, all right, okay. There's like, oh yeah, man, what? Okay, yeah. It's like, all right,
yeah. It just, like, the whole thing kind of feels a little bit, just a little bit vanilla in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no real kind of challenges there. And to be honest with you, again, even though I haven't started the game yet, I would have thought that Ghost was taken away 2, maybe 3 awards. It's got 1 for best art direction, which it deserved. But from the way that I've been speaking to people about this game, to the point where it's half inspired me to buy the the Akira Kurosawa box set recently. Right?
Yep.
The game has impacted me and I ain't even touched it yet. Right? So I would have thought that
it would have got something else.
Yeah,
I think it deserved a couple more. I think a 50-50, 60-40 split with Last of Us. But yeah, I just think, to be honest, it's an easy win for the judges just to be like, yeah, Last of Us. Yeah, Last of Us. Yeah, Last of Us.
Yeah.
It is way more impactful than Ghost of Tsushima, I think, in terms of its shock factor.
Yeah.
And its hard hittingness. But I do think Tsushima should have got a bit more of a look in. Weird, right?
It is weird, and it's kind of prompted a question. I don't know if it's a silly one, but I'm going to ask it anyway, right? So, you know what we were just talking about with Final Fantasy 7 Remake winning best score in music. Now, you were saying that, we were saying that we know the music already.
Yes.
Okay. You know, we have experience with that music already, so for them to win it, like, this year is a bit like, oh, okay. Can we apply that logic to The Last of Us for a second, right? Do you see where I'm going with this?
Okay, I see.
Right?
I can see where you're going. Yeah,
right.
Go on.
Like we've known these characters for quite some time. So prior to this game coming out, we are kind of already emotionally invested. Just like hearing a One-Winged Angel invokes an emotional response when we hear that. Whenever we hear that anywhere, it's just like.
Yeah. Even now, I'm just like,
exactly, right? It gives us chills. It just gives us that feeling.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, taking that to The Last of Us, you know, we know Joel, we know Ellie, we know Abby, we know the situation.
Yep.
We have part 2.
So, yes, okay, I agree. But there are new things. Like, we didn't have Abby.
No.
We didn't have the WLF. You know, the walls.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have the new area that it's in. You know, where it's set in Seattle. There were new mechanics involved, although there weren't a lot of new mechanics involved.
Like 2.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, I'm not trying to crap on it.
No. Like, this is a good it's a good topic, because it is one of those things that I feel like, yes, it's a sequel, and yes, we already did have Ellie.
Yeah.
But they did make a big dynamic shift. Pretty much all the characters are new around her.
Yeah. True.
And, you know, they changed it that we were seeing the world from another perspective.
Yes,
so
we were.
That in its own right kind of gives it new life. You know, it's like saying with the Final Fantasy 7 thing, if they had used, I mean, it wouldn't work because it's a remake, right? But if they'd have used some of the old music and then put in some new music,
right,
you could probably turn around and go, okay, fine, because it's new music.
Yeah.
But there isn't any new music with that, because it's just remakes of old music.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that The Last of Us Part 2 had a lot of a new area, new characters, new mechanics, new story. There was enough to make it different. If it was like if it was a Last of Us remake and it won all those awards, you'd be like, nah, that's cheating.
Yeah.
But they did new things, and they did flip it on its head and made people think, and you know, split the fan base down the middle.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Does that make sense?
No, it does make sense. Like you said, it's I mean, it's got enough in there that, you know, we saw the world from a different perspective. We met a new group, met new characters. So yeah, I can get it. I just thought, well, you know, you can apply the same logic to both. Like, I don't know. Maybe I feel a way because they have cleaned up on so many categories. I'm just like, I want to take one away from you.
Yeah, you just want to find a way around.
I just want to find a way around it.
Look, for example, I love Dragon Age, for example.
You do. Yeah.
Dragon Age Inquisition is a great game, but I think Dragon Age 2 is really bad.
Right.
If Dragon Age Inquisition won a lot of awards and they were like, nah, it's cheating because it's, you know, it's a sequel to Dragon Age 2, I'd be like, well, that doesn't make sense because it's a new game and it's a continuation.
Yeah.
The same with any movie. You'd be like, if Terminator 2 won Best Film, and people go, nah, man, that's rubbish because like it's basically.
Didn't it win that did win awards a lot of awards when it came out, didn't
right?
it?
But imagine if they turned around and went, nah, it's cheating because it's not like Terminator.
Yeah.
Or it's just Terminator.
Yeah.
You'd be like, nah, but it's a completely different film. It's a new story. It's new characters. It's a new direction.
Okay.
So I'd be like, no, we're taking that all away from you because it's not. Yeah. Nah, it wouldn't. I don't know if that.
It's not fresh.
It's not fresh. We should start our own award system every year. It's called the Fresh Awards. The new content that came out this year. No sequels allowed.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that was cool. I mean, we won't go through all of them. We'll just go through the ones we said. So
that was the main
other things that came up. I want to jump on this right now.
Let's do it.
Super Smash Brothers. And I don't play Super Smash Brothers.
No.
They released a trailer. And when I was watching the awards, I didn't know what was going on. It was all bait and switch. And then they did something.
Tell it, child.
Preach. Sephiroth has now been announced for Smash Brothers.
Dun,
and he got his own cinematic. They spent thousands and thousands and thousands on a cinematic trailer for Sephiroth in Smash Brothers.
Yep.
And it was 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Eclipsed every other trailer. Eclipsed the award ceremony itself.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah.
The music was so strong. You can tell that they are mad fans of Advent Children because it was all Advent Children.
Lots of Advent Children
shot for
vibes.
shot in some way.
Yeah, for sure. Like, definitely.
What they did to Mario.
I mean, that gave me chills, and I've not played the game, but I was just like, did you do that to Mario?
Because it's a one-to-one shot of when he does it to Cloud.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
in Cloud, it goes through his shoulder.
Yeah.
Whereas it goes through his dungarees.
It goes through his dungarees, but that was beautiful. I was sitting there for a couple of seconds thinking, what did you just do to Mario? You didn't really do that.
Because it looks
you
like...
couldn't have done.
That Sephiroth has stabbed him in the chest.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's dark.
It was like, yo!
Yeah.
Like, what's happened?
But they switch it and it looks like he's caught his clothing on the sword. Cloud is now animated. There was an incredible fight, and then we get to see, the new stages in Smash where...
Can I just quickly interject something?
Yeah.
Right? There was a shot in there where you see Sephiroth, like, cameras beneath him, and he's got his hand in the air. From Advent Children. And he says the line, but they change it. They're like, I'm going to give Smash despair. And then you see all the clouds swirl and everything like that. And I was just like, oh my days.
Yeah, because in the original we said, shall I give you despair? He's like, I've got a present for you, Cloud. Shall I give you despair?
Yeah.
And in this he says, now I shall give Smash despair.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing.
It's such a nice touch. Such really good fan service, you know what I mean?
Even at the end when he says return to my memories, he goes, I'll never be a memory. It's Advent Children 1 for 1.
Yeah, it is.
And he does I think it's called level 5 Omni Slash.
Omni Slash version 5.
Version 5, which is from Advent Children. So you can tell they're big Advent Children fans. And for those that don't know, Final Fantasy VII Advent Children was a movie that came out 15
I want to say 15 years ago. Yeah.
It's the fight scenes are great. Storytelling's pretty loose, but in terms of the fight scenes itself, it's a great movie. And it was an animated movie that they did. And it looks to me, they used the music from Advent Children, that version of the Sephiroth theme, and they just basically took the Advent Children style and put it in for Sephiroth in Smash Brothers, and it was phenomenal. Like I've watched it like 20 times.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of Smash, but I thought to myself, do I need to play this game now?
Yeah, right? How good is that? When it's like, I've never wanted to play it, but now I'm like, I might play this game.
Yeah, like seriously.
Otherwise, other things we saw in the awards ceremony were the Smash Brothers thing. I'm a big Left 4 Dead fan.
Yeah.
And
Give the tiny bit of backstory on that.
So I'll read what it says on The Verge. So Left 4 Dead studio Turtle Rock previously revealed it was working on a similar zombie-themed co-op shooter, and developer showed off just what it looks like in a new gameplay trailer. Really, it's just what it sounds like. Back 4 Blood, and I mean 4 with the number 4, features 4 players teaming up to fight off waves of the undead. Now,
where does that sound familiar?
Left 4 Dead, and yes, the 4 is the number 4, was a 4-player team shooter, first-person shooter against waves of zombies.
Yeah. And
I just like this idea of Turtle Rock turning to Valve, because originally it was a Valve game, who owns Steam, and they've made Half-Life and who haven't made anything for ages. They were like, oh, we want to do Left 4 Dead 3, and they're like, nah, we're not doing that. And then they were like, all right, see ya. Bounced.
Wow.
And instead of doing Left 4 Dead, they're doing Back 4 Blood. It's like, it's almost a middle finger, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is, man.
Because the name is so close, and it's the same game.
Yeah.
The style is exactly the same. I mean, I'm going to play the life out of it.
It looks good, man. It does look like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. Perfect Dark, an N64 game back in the day.
Yeah, I never got my hands on that. I feel as though I should have done.
That was kind of your, like obviously GoldenEye had the crown.
Oh
but
man.
then Perfect Dark, it was one of those like.
Yeah.
That was great, but I think to play it, you had to have like an extension pack.
Right.
That was in the thing itself. That was really cool. Dragon Age 4, yay.
Yeah.
Although there's bad news where 2 of the lead developers have left BioWare.
Oh, no.
So God knows what that means.
Okay.
Mass Effect.
I mean, this is another emotional spot for you because obviously the last offering was
heartbreaking.
It was delivered,
but it was like Cyberpunk. It was just full of holes.
Yeah, it was Swiss cheese.
I'm gonna play. I will finish Andromeda one day.
Am I imagining it, or did they say that they were going to stop supporting that? Have they stopped supporting it now? Have they stopped patching it up?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, they have said so. Mass Effect is a RPG sci-fi game that kind of ran tandem with Dragon Age being the medieval kind of fantasy version. Mass Effect was the sci-fi space opera. And I loved it. Mass Effect 1 through 3 was great. Obviously, Mass Effect 3, if you don't know, had a really controversial ending. So controversial, in fact, that they changed it. And it was just dreadful and it didn't work. But Mass Effect 2 was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And they're going to release the remastered versions of Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3.
Oh.
I'm getting the... Yeah, baby. So I'll be buying that. And Mass Effect, which is the teaser they just dropped now of the next game, is happening. They say that it takes place right after Mass Effect 3.
Right.
So there's something to look forward to. So that was really fun for me to see. Arc 2, not a big Arc fan. Survival game with dinosaurs and sci-fi.
Vin Diesel. I've heard a couple of people speak about Arc, but not enough to
warrant anything.
Yeah.
But Vin Diesel's in the new one apparently. That was a whole thing.
Yeah.
So it's been, I mean, like I said, I didn't really see anything other than that made me go, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, not really. I mean, aside from that, everything else is just being kind of taken. I mean, Cyberpunk is taking up the gaming space at the moment.
So yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's pretty much that sort of vibe at the minute.
Yeah, and like with everything that's going on, obviously they had the Marvel Investor Day and the Star Wars Investor Day.
Oh my God.
And if you don't know what that means, basically Kathleen Kennedy, who runs the Star Wars franchise, and Kevin Feige, who runs the Marvel franchise, step up and go, here's our plans for the next 2 years. And they announce everything that's going to be coming out for both Marvel and Star Wars forever. And there were like 52 announcements or something.
Pretty much. I think there's going to be like 10 series of new Marvel content, 10 series, or probably more, 10 series of Star Wars content at least.
And it's just like TV shows and films at the same time.
Yeah,
like,
it's
trailers dropping left, right, and center. Loki looks great. That TV
Loki
show
looks good. Yeah, Loki looks really good.
That stood out for me in a big way.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, that looks fun.
That looks decent. I mean, Loki looks better for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that looks cool. I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, that looks like it has a Falcon and Winter Soldier. That is, it looks like it has a bit more of a serious edge to it.
Yes,
because I know we were speaking before, and we were kind of saying how with Falcon, it's got the potential to be a bit quippy and stuff like that. So it kind of takes away the seriousness a little bit.
Yeah.
But upon seeing this trailer, there's very much that kind of. It's almost like what's the one with Matt Damon? What's the films with Matt Damon? The Bourne
films.
Yeah. It kind of gives me a bit of that sort of vibe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And then obviously they've said they came out and announced that Chadwick Boseman will not be recast as Black Panther, but they will be doing a Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
And it will be written and directed by Ryan Coogler, so we're in safe hands. I think it's going to be really cool. They've just announced so much. Disney, it's just like everyone. Eventually, Disney Plus is just going to be the dominant force on this planet.
It is going to be the dominant force, and with their announcement of the Star Service, which will new information be implemented into the Disney Plus service.
Yeah.
Bringing all of the Fox content with it, so it's going to be films, it's going to be series, it's even going to have like an age, what do you call it, like a parent lock.
Oh, okay.
So you've got like
they're going to dominate.
Yeah, you've got the restricted like 15, 18 content, adult content, and then you've got all of the other content. But Yeah, man.
Apple
Like,
TV must be sweating.
man, they were late. I'm sorry, but they were late. What were they doing?
They were, yeah. And Amazon needs to fix up their UI.
They need to fix up their UI pretty sharpish. I'm not really worried about Netflix as such.
They need to find their pocket. They just need to find their corner where it's like, well, Disney can't do this stuff, which is what they're already doing. They're going for that hard hitting, balls to the wall, which Disney can't do. So they're just kind of finding pockets and surviving under the empire.
That's it.
But yeah, so that's kind of it really for what we wanted to cover today.
Yeah.
Do we want to do a?
We'll give them one more this side of Christmas, and then.
All right, so not this one.
Yeah. No. We'll do it. Yeah, we'll do one now.
Bar fights and what's it called?
Bar fights and battle shots.
Bar fights and.
Was that
amazing? Oh my god. Okay, do you have one?
I don't.
Okay,
it's your turn this time.
It's my turn.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's interesting. Okay,
right,
so
what do we got?
Who have I been messing around with recently? Let's have Boba Fett.
Are you toying around with me? What are you doing with my emotions,
Boba
man?
Fett.
Yeah. Don't you do it.
I'm not gonna say Mando.
No, don't.
No. Boba Fett and who's a good
Boba Fett?
Yeah, that's serious, isn't it?
Yeah, that's no messing around.
That's serious.
That's trauma.
Boba Fett and Deacon St. John. And for those of you who don't know, Deacon St. John is from the game Days Gone.
And by the way, that deafening silence there was me staring at Tones with daggers. Yeah, because he knows.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
Who are you going to screw over? Who are you going to disrespect?
Mate.
I think I know the answer. I know battle shots and okay, go on.
Right. Battle shots, right? For battle shots, oh god.
This is for me this is easy.
It's easy.
Yeah.
For battle shots, it's good.
Battle shots is Deacon, bar fight is Boba.
What?
Yeah.
I would have gone the other way around.
How?
Wait. Hold on.
What?
Hold on a minute. I would have said battle shots would have been Boba.
How?
Right, but then I was struggling with the other one. I was struggling with bar fights. I'm not sure.
Boba battered Deacon in a bar fight. He took all them stormtroopers on in Mandalorian and shot one without even looking. He's got knee rockets, fam.
Yeah, exactly. He's got knee rockets, fam. Where is he without his knee rockets, bruv?
Well,
take his armor off, though, innit?
Take his armor off.
Don't even talk to me about his extended candle wick that he was smashing helmets with.
Exactly.
Nah,
He's got the ability. I reckon he would. He's got skill. He's got ability. My man was doing damage way before Deacon.
Homeboy Deacon has been out there in the wild, fam.
The world has turned. Technique. He's got no technique.
He doesn't need technique. He just needs survival, and that's what he's got.
All right. So you're saying battle shots Boba.
Bar
fight. You think Deacon could take Boba in a fight?
Listen, right? If we are talking about I don't want to hear rockets coming out of my kneecaps.
This
that's cheating.
Deeply controversial.
That's cheating.
I do think that Boba's got technique. He's gonna get some of the hardest mothers in the galaxy. He's gonna have a bit of technique to him. He went without his armor for years.
Yeah, that's true. But Deacon's just been going against feral creatures for time now.
We're not talking about who would survive in an environment more. We're talking about who would beat each other up in a fight.
No, but this is my point. Like, because he's got that survival instincts, that kicks in. So he's a scrapper.
The only way he could beat Boba is if he fought dirty.
Which he would do.
Okay.
Because he's a survivor. He's a scrapper.
And you think Boba could outdrink Deacon?
Boba's hard for the drink.
What?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. He's got that look to him, man. He's just got it. He looks like he will drink triple whiskeys.
I am so surprised.
Triple whiskeys, no rocks, fam.
All right. No.
Straw, innit?
Don't dilute it.
And that's my word on that.
All right. Well, as always, guys, thank you for hanging out. It's good to be back. That was
always.
That was so strange. It's so good to be back. So good to hanging out with you guys. We're going to be here next week. As always, you can find us at Tones and the Biz. And keep it classy. We'll be on YouTube. We'll be back on YouTube this week also. Come hang out with us again.
Hang out.
Take it easy.
Take it easy, guys.